Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the John Owen YouTube channel, sports, movies, and everything else. So before we get into today's video, make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on any of the fun. If you do all those things, you'll make sure that you never miss out on any of my videos. Alright, now that I'm tongue-tied and out of the way, let's get into today's video. So, as you probably know if you've been watching for a while or just know me personally, movies are a huge part of my life. I like to talk about movies, I love to watch movies, I like to digest and pick them apart or whatever. And so today's video is about my favorite movies of all time, because obviously when you study and watch movies as much as I do, you create your favorites. So this video is low-key long, way overdue, so we're just getting right into it without further ado. So at number 10, we have Marvel's The Avengers. So I've talked about this movie quite a bit on my channel and whatnot, and what makes this movie really special to me is the fact that this is the movie that proved that the concept of a shared universe was going to work. They had all these different storylines and themes, and they meshed them all together perfectly into an outstanding 2.5 blockbuster. 2.5 hour blockbuster, excuse me. All the character interactions, mainly Tony and Steve, was awesome. Loki was a great villain, and finally, when they come together in the third act, honestly, the last 25 to 30 minutes of the Avengers is some of the best peak MCU, and that's saying a lot. At number 9, we have White Chicks. So I've talked about this movie before on my channel, and this is one of my favorite movies from when I was little. So the nostalgia is so pure and awesome. This movie is a straight comedy. Probably technically the worst movie on this list, but you just want to plug it in, have a good time, and an absolutely absurd concept. This movie is so funny. I can quote this entire movie. Love White Chicks. At number 8, we have Captain America: Civil War. So another movie that I've talked about quite a bit, but this movie to me is what really got me into the MCU. I remember going to see it in theaters the first time I had watched an MCU movie, actually in the theater, and I was just blown away by the connectivity and the way they were able to mesh and weave and do all kinds of crazy stuff. We got Black Panther and Spider-Man, so it was awesome. Tony and Steve, their breakup was obviously heart-shattering. But this is the movie that really got me into the MCU, made me go back and rewatch all of them because I hadn't seen all of them. I didn't even know who Ant-Man or Vision or Scarlet Witch was before I watched this movie. So once I got into the MCU, then it became my favorite movie franchise of all time, and I totally have this movie to thank for that. At number 7, we have Thor Ragnarok. Definitely, probably to me, kind of the easiest and breeziest, funniest MCU movie with some awesome, epic moments. Obviously Thor loses Mjolnir, so he's got to go Super Saiyan on everybody. But this is one of my favorite movies. Obviously, that's why it's on this list. This movie is just so awesome. If you don't have it in your top 5 MCU movies, I understand that you have an opinion and I have to respect it, but I'm definitely going to have to just totally, utterly disagree with you on it. At number 6, we have Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Now, when I watch this movie, I almost get nervous. That's weird to say, but it just pains me to watch this movie because I watch it every time, and I know Anakin's going to turn, and he's going to become Darth Vader, but I just, cling and hope that he just doesn't. Just cling on to the slightest bit that he just won't, and then he does, and then Obi-Wan has to go fight him, and I start crying because it's so powerful. It's sad. I don't actually cry every time, but I do get really close. It is really moving. Honestly, this probably to me is the most emotionally stressful movie I watch on a regular basis. No doubt. That's why I love it, just because it gets me charged up every time. Alright, breaking into our top 5, we have The Lion King. In my opinion, undoubtedly the best Disney movie of all time. Sorry, other contenders, but you really just don't match up with this masterpiece. Simba is one of my favorites of all time. Favorite characters. Love Mufasa. Scar is a top 10 villain of all time, no doubt. And then the side characters, Nala and Pumbaa and Timon and Rafiki and Zazu, and all of them were just awesome. The story is so good. The animation looks really nice. The fact that this movie has held up for so long is just a testament to how elite it is. And I just know that the nostalgia is just blinding almost, and I can admit that, but we're just going to have to roll with it. At number 4, we have Jurassic Park. Now, when I was little, I was so obsessed with dinosaurs, and this is the pedestal of dinosaur movies. So, of course, I was absolutely in love with it as a kid. And then I kept rewatching over and over again. I was like, oh, yeah, Jurassic Park is one of my favorites. But every time I watch it, it just keeps getting better. That's really hard for a movie to do. Is every single time it just keeps getting better, and that's just because it's really technical, it's really sound. Not only is it just like a really fun movie, it is a great movie just from like a film perspective. The animatronics and the CGI, the seamless blend between the two for the dinosaurs is, I mean, it was revolutionary for the time, and it still really holds up. The framing and the character development of people like Dr. Alan Grant and Dr. Sattler and Tim and Lex is just awesome. That's why it's considered one of the greatest movies of all time, and it's one of my favorites. At number 3, we have Shrek. Oh, my heart. When this movie comes on TV, I stop and I watch it, no doubt. I mean, I can't skip it, dude. Shrek and Donkey and Fiona and Lord Farquaad and just everyone in this movie is so elite. They have a great voice cast: Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz. And you put it behind a really interesting concept of a movie that digests and is almost a parody of common kid movie tropes. Just outstanding move. And my favorite part about Shrek is the fact that it's enjoyable for everybody. There's humor for kids, there's humor for teenagers, there's humor for adults, and one joke could mean 3 different things to depending on your age. So just the comedy and the shrewdness of this movie is why I love it so much. All right, breaking it into our top 2 is Avengers Infinity War. Now, I've talked about this movie quite a bit on my channel, but this movie is just epic. Do you just want to talk about a straight up awesome cinematic experience? To me, just from completely objectively, the best MCU movie. Definitely, I put Winter Soldier right behind it. Just as the pure best MCU movies, just fast paced, blitz. Thanos is an absolute superstar. The action is awesome. When Thor drops into Wakanda, it still gives me goosebumps. I remember jumping out of my seat in the theater because that's how epic it was. And then, of course, the snap and everyone's fading away in the dust. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Yeah, hold on. Let me go grab some napkins real quick. Infinity War is, right up there with another movie as just pure peak MCU-ness. So before we announce number 1, we are going to have my honorable mentions. Now, obviously, it was really hard to get all these movies that I love just down to 10 and then these honorable mentions. So there's a lot of movies that are left out, but these are the ones I felt like were definitely almost on the list, but got to get the honorable mentions shout out. So we got Space Jam, Spider-Man Far From Home, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Return of the Jedi, Captain America the Winter Soldier, The Help, and Tombstone. And before we get into number 1, if you haven't seen any of these movies, make sure you go check them out, and make sure you leave your thoughts on any of these movies down below or any other movies you'd like to talk about. And at number 1, you probably saw it coming, Avengers Endgame. So this movie is just purely the culmination of the entire Infinity Saga and everything it stood for and represented, and it nailed it. Stuck the landing, absolutely without a question, a perfect, near perfect ending to the Infinity Saga and the MCU as we've known it so far. It's just epic. Just from start to finish, 3 hours of awesomeness. Even though the middle's a little slower, it's still awesome. So I love Endgame. It's kind of easy my favorite movie of all time. And that's why it's here at number 1. So thank you for checking out today's video. Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on any of the fun. Have a great day.